DJ Metal Craig of Craig's Metal Storm here. I have one of the members of Deceased with me today. Hey, how's it going? And would you like to introduce yourself and what position you do in the band?
King Fally from Deceased, the lead vocals, the screamer, the yeller, the freak from the hearse.
Would you mind going back in the history of Deceased and how the band all got started?
Sure. Well, not what, okay, as a youngster, basically, I wanted to play music since I was in my earliest of teens. I actually had a little band called Slack Tide when I was 12 years old. We just did covers. We did everything from Bad Company and Kiss to The Knack and fucking who else did we do? I think we did some Aerosmith. But anyway, I wanted to do music, so started to get loving the metal music more and more as I got older, as my teen stuff, and then Deceased kind of came together. I met a friend. I had a girlfriend, and she had a friend of hers, and they used to skip school and come to my house. And I started talking to him, and we decided to put together a band. This was 1980. This was late '83, early '84, and he didn't really know a lot about the heavier stuff. I was talking about the Merciful Fates and the bands of the day. Venom was especially one of them, and I kind of got him into that stuff, and he took to it quickly, and he picked up a guitar. I was decided early on I was going to play bass, but that didn't work itself out. So I ended up playing drums after we got another guitar player named Mark in the band. And then we started writing tunes like early songs like Terror Inside the Coffin and Death of Christ. We were, and we didn't have the name Deceased quite yet. But then we got the name Deceased. We kind of settled in by early 85. We were really rolling. We did a bunch of demos in 86, 88, and 89. Got signed to Relapse Records back then, put out Luck the Corpse in 90. And we've kind of been rolling since then for the last 34 years past that first initial six or whatever it is. We're coming up on 40 years. Let's just put it that way.
Right on. Funny thing you mentioned the Luck of the Corpse album. I used to have an original of that, and mine got stolen.
uh,
Seriously, some people are just such assholes in general.
yeah, taking people's shit.
Yeah, I hate that. If I caught the guy, I'd really have word for them now.
Yeah, I bet.
How did you guys come up with the band name Deceased?
Well, we had a couple names before it. We had one called Mad Butcher, which had two D's in it. We had a band, we had it called Mace. We had it called Evil Axe, AXE, which they sound fine when you're 15 years old and young. But when I was like, this isn't the name, none of these are going to be the name. And then one day I just said Deceased. I just thought it was perfect for us. And we basically kept it since then, which was around, it was early 85. It's anywhere from January to June, depending on who you ask. And
Who designed the Deceased band logo?
I did. I actually did right from the start. We had a bunch of people just always used to draw it on flyers, and and I was always like, we got to get one and stick with one. So I came up with a design which includes the three dots. The three dots basically represent death and then living on. Instead of usually it would be dot 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 and then afterwards, which means basically the end. This basically means the end and then starting over with the three dots.
Cool, I didn't know that about the logo. By the way, the logo's sick and amazing. Even though I didn't know you had done it back in the day, I loved it from day one, buddy.
Hey, cool. Thank you.
Who's all in the current Deceased band lineup and what instruments do they play?
It can be a little wild with this because a few guys that play. Okay, but basically, we'll start here with the newest record, Children of the Morgue. Playing on the record is me on vocals, Mike Smith on guitar, who's been in the band for 35 years now, close to 35 years. It's Les Snyder on bass, who's been in the band for like 37 years. Um, it's Shane on guitar, our second guitar player, Shane Fugel, and he's been in the band now for 18 years. And then our new drummer is Amos Rifkin. This is his first album because our longtime drummer, Dave Scarface Castillo, he actually passed away. He drowned in 2018 in El Salvador on vacation, and we lost him. So that's the studio lineup. We play live. We have some other guys that go out and play because Les lives in Texas. I live in Pennsylvania. Shane lives in D.C. Mike Smith lives in Maryland, and Amos lives in Atlanta, Georgia. So basically, when we go play live, most of the time it's me singing, Amos on drums, a guy named Matt Eibach on guitar, and a guy named Walter White on bass, and then the basically, and then Shane Fugel goes out as our second guitar player because Mike had retired from playing live as far back as 2006. So basically, it can vary. There's a couple other guys, a guy named Alan and a guy named Hervine who play in a band called Earthling who've helped us out a few times. We did a couple of tours with Bulldozer where they helped us out because some of the guys' timing, being older, with work and life and things, sometimes it doesn't line up to go run this, run the gamut for 28 days on the road. So you got to get together with guys that can do it that long, or you got to work around things. So it's a family. We're all in this together, and we have a blast. But yeah, it's me, Mike Smith, Shane Fugel, Amos Rifkin, and Les Snyder playing on the Children of the Morgue.
Right on. Who designed the Children of the Morgue album art?
It was an idea I had in my head. I got a guy named Desmond to take care of the art for me. He's a friend of mine. He's been a longtime artist. Hasn't done a lot of album covers, but he's done a lot of art for a lot of people. And we got together, and for the last 2 years, we're putting that together on and off. He was kind of like sending me his updates, and we'd kind of like sculpt and mold as we went while he was kind of sketching it out. And then when we figured it all out and it was good to go, he laid it all down as is. But yeah, it was an idea I had originally, but he did a hell of a job. He's a great artist.
Right on. This next one's a good one. With Children of the Morgue coming out on August 30th, where can the album be pre-ordered or purchased?
Definitely at Hell's Headbangers, which is a mail order company. They're out of Ohio. They've got their website. You just basically hit your Hell's Headbangers Records.com and you'll find it. It's going to be available on CD and cassette on the 30th of August, and it'll be on vinyl in the fall. Vinyl's a little slower to press these days because everybody's back to doing it. So it takes a little bit more time to do that.
If you're cool with it, can I get you to talk about one of my favorite songs off the album?
Sure.
What were the themes and concepts behind the song Terror Not?
Terranaut, I like that one a lot too. That's one of your ones you dig. That's cool. Very melodic tune. Got a lot of Voivod kind of Angel Rat, Nothing Face era to it and at parts. Terranaut basically goes with the concept of the record. Terranaut represents death. Terranaut for me on this record is death. It's kind of like my word for it. And basically, it's just got some good melodies to it. It's got the spooky little spoken part in it. It's got a nice little. It's got a couple. Really cool melodies throughout it, and I really do like the tune too.
Right on. What are some of the band's immediate music career goals?
We've just want to, as far as we just want to write what we write. We want to do it our way. We don't care what's popular or hip. We just always play what we call our death metal from the grave. Just keep doing what we do. Keep getting together and writing new records and playing live shows, and keeping the underground alive and keeping it like genuine and honest, and doing our part to keep music with integrity alive.
Another album of mine that was a favorite of yours. This one might bring back a bell and some memories with you. 13 Frightened Souls.
At the EP, Mike Smith's first thing he played on, because our old guitar player Doug Souther played on Luck of the Corpse. It was fun to record. It's not my favorite. I don't like my playing on it or my vocals as much, but at the time it was a better recording than Luck of the Corpse. It was the kind of getting Mike involved with the band. So we did a couple old demo songs, Planet Graveyard and Nuclear Exorcist, along with 2 brand new songs, which was the title track and Robotic Village. And then we paid homage to one of our favorite bands as a unit, which is Voivod. It was fun. It was cool. The album artwork, I remember we didn't know what we wanted to use. And I went into a bookstore and saw this picture. And I loved it. And at the time, Mark, our guitar player, his girlfriend saw this picture in the New York Museum of Art. And it was the same thing that I saw in the book. So we figured that was perfect because, unknowing to both of us, we came up with the same idea was in our mind. So we were like, oh, this has got to be the cover then. But it did well for us. Nuclear Blast put it on a compilation, and people to this day still say, a lot of people say that's the first time they really heard Deceased was on those Death is Just the Beginning compilations. Still love playing those tunes live. I do like the songs on the record. I just wish the recording, and I don't know. You go back and there's always something that's got to be your least fave. I appreciate what we do. Lessons learned as you go along. Things get better. I wouldn't change a thing, even now. But yeah, it was fun. It was cool. It was 1993 when I think we did that thing, and we've got 13 Frightened Souls, the song, in the set right now.
Right on. And just so you know, personally for me, I thought your vocals were very eerie, creepy, and very good on that album, but that's just how I feel about
No, I
it.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. I was still learning my craft. I'm always learning my craft. I'm not the master of anything. That's for damn sure. But it's just learning new things and all that kind of stuff.
Sorry, just finding my place in the questions. There we go. Found what I need to ask you next. What social media outlets can the band be reached on?
Well, we don't really have a website anymore. Websites to me are kind of a thing of the past for the most part. I think. I mean, if you go to Facebook, Kingsley King Fally, which is me, you come into my page. I'm always talking about what we're doing and things like that. Or they can email me at King Doomstone, KingDoomstone at yahoo.com, about booking shows or questions or anything. Other than that, you can see us. We put up live shows on YouTube and videos and this and that, and always doing podcasts and stuff. So just look in YouTube or find me on Facebook. Most of the guys in the band are there, and of some sort of on Facebook too.
Please give some vocal tips or advice for starting out vocalists.
I guess just kind of look for what works for you. Find what you feel like your strengths, and just kind of go from there. I mean, try to be your own guy. Try not to impersonate people. Of course, if in this world of the gurgler or whatever they're calling the vocals this week, the Cookie Monster, whatever it is, I try to make sure that personally that you can understand every lyric I say. I want definition in the stuff. I come more from the school of Kronos than I do, say, Barney from Napalm Death or something like that, which a lot of people, that was then, and it is what it is. But I like to make sure I give it my all, give it your power, and definitely, you need to project. You need to really put everything you got into it. The last record, Ghostly White, I almost broke my ribs singing that one. When we did Mrs. Allardyce, I pulled my entire lung and rib, and that's how hard I was pushing.
That's crazy, man. But you really do good for your albums. I like every one of them so far.
Well, thank you.
The other project you did, October 31, that was another cool one, man.
Yeah, that was a fun band. That's pretty much a done band now. Unfortunately, Brian, our guitar player, he's got severe Parkinson's disease, and he's pretty much done. And we wouldn't go on without him because me and him started the band. And I told him, without him, we won't go on. So it's kind of a done thing, unfortunately. But we had a fun ride of, what was it, 25, 30 years of that thing.
And I'm sure about your friend Brian and his issues he's having.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a damn shame.
And the next one I'm going to ask you is because I got two more for the interview, and then we'll need one station ID from you. Who are
Okay.
the band's musical influences?
Oh, that's everything and anything, man. We grew up with everything from Kiss and Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Anvil and Saxon and Raven, and we got into our Merciful Fates and Voivods and Slayers and Blessed Deaths and Artilleries, all of that stuff. Then we also got into Fates Warning and Queensryche and that melodic side of heavy metal. So it's all there, and then you got the heaviest of heavy with the early master demos and Repulsion and the Death Strike pre-master. Things like that are definitely our main influences for sure. And we wear it all on our sleeves. We're not afraid to 1 minute do a Repulsion like part and then all of a sudden say, well, this next part's like Queensryche. We don't mind. We do what feels right to us. My all-time favorite band, personally speaking, for me is Iron Maiden, so they're still like an important part to me. And my favorite underground band is Voivod. So a little bit of both of that kind of like has a little bit higher than anything else. But I mean, I can't forget growing up to even the Beatles is important to me. But like Kiss and Black Sabbath, those are the ones that got me through the high school days more than anything in the elementary school days.
Right on. Funny thing you mentioned Iron Maiden. My favorite album they did, Book of Souls, which has Empire of Clouds on it. That's an 18.5 minute song.
Book of Souls, I've played that record over 150 times since it came out over the last 5, 6, 7 years, and I love it too. It's my favorite record they've done with Bruce since he came back, with Brave New World. I love it. I love Book of Souls. I'm big time into that record, brother.
Right on. Me, the reason I'm into that one is because it's a 2 CD concept album.
Yeah, it's got some really cool stuff on there, man.
And now that leaves us with the last question of the interview, and I'll need the station ID. What new news do you have on the deceased front? As in anything we might have missed so far in this interview?
Oh, you've caught everything. I mean, going forward, we've got a few festivals. We're getting back out and playing live again at the end of August. We are playing in at the RPM Fest, which is in Massachusetts. That's the last Friday and Labor Day weekend in August, and then we're playing at the Book of Armageddon Festival in Brooklyn the next day, and then we're actually doing a home record release show in Washington D.C. I'm originally from Virginia. The band started in Virginia. We're doing that the first day of September on that Labor Day weekend. Following that, we have a festival. We're actually playing in Hawaii at a volcanic metal fest, and that's at the beginning of October. I think we're playing that Saturday, October 5th in Hawaii. So those are the 4 shows on the calendar for now. But going forward, we're going to get out. We're going to play all over the place as we get going with the record coming out and things like that. Especially next year being our 40th anniversary, it's going to roll right into 2025. And then we're also going to be working on something called March of the Cadavers, which is going to be a 2 CD set of our history of the band. I don't want to call it a greatest hits because it's not that. It's just documents all the eras of things. We kind of celebrate 40 years. We're going to do a couple cover songs. We're going to do a couple exclusive new songs for it. And we're also going to do a couple old demo songs from the first demos we did back in the 80s, redone. And as well as, like I said, like tracks from all the old records and stuff. So that's just celebrating things like that. And we're going to have a couple special concerts in 2025 to celebrate all the years and the family that is deceased.
Right on. And now that leads us with the station, which is, hey, this is King of Deceased, and you're listening to Mangled Music Radio.
You got it. You ready?
Yep, ready when you are.
This is King Fally from Deceased, and you're listening to Mangled Music Radio.
Cool. Thank you very much for the time, man, and thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you, brother. Take care of yourself.
You have yourself a wonderful one. Bye.